Hello and welcome back to Fiskaspjall. Today we sit down with another Icefish Research co-founder. Theresa just landed back in Iceland from Spain, where she is based now. I'm so excited to finally be able to catch up with her in person. And if you stay until the very end, Theresa will tell you her favorite fish fact. And it is a dark one, y'all.
Everywhere we go, there is something to see. So dive into the blue to discover the world of fish. Fiskaspjall, where we talk about all things fishy.
My name is Theresa. The question of where I'm from is always a bit complicated, I feel like. I'm originally from Germany, but I lived in Iceland for 8 years. But then about a year ago, I moved to southern Spain, and I'm now doing a postdoc there.
And what are you doing in your postdoc?
I am kind of continuing what I did throughout my PhD. I kind of went down the slippery slope of social science and started to become really interested and passionate about human dimensions of biological invasions through my work with the flounder here. And now I'm continuing that on a broader scale and mostly applied to plants currently, but lots of different projects going on, but generally I'm doing research on the human dimensions of biological invasions.
What is a biological invasion?
Very good question.
Right now I'm imagining, a spaceship landing on Earth.
Just some flounder coming out.
Well, I wasn't thinking necessarily flounder, but, makes the picture even better.
So biological invasions, it's quite a broad term. It's a global phenomenon. And basically it's about species being on the move and being introduced to new areas beyond their natural or their native environment. This is due to human activity. Intentionally, if people want to introduce, if you want to bring a specific plant because you miss it from your home country, or fish species are being introduced. But then there's also unintentional introductions, for instance, species like ship fouling, where species attach to the outside of ship hulls and are then transported into new areas or through the ballast water in ships. So there are lots of different ways where species get introduced to new regions, and this can cause a lot of issues. You have new species coming in. Not every species that comes in establishes, but once it survives this journey and actually matches with the environment that it's suitable for it, it establishes and is then considered a established non-native species or alien species. If it then continues to spread and eventually has a negative impact on the environment, it's considered invasive.
So you started all this invasion work, let's call it, with the flounder in Iceland. Can you maybe tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so my work on the flounder started off with my master thesis when I heard about this project from Guðbjörg. And basically the flounder is a flatfish species that is native to Western Central Europe, but has been observed in Iceland since about 1999. That's at least when the first official documentation was made. But my master thesis was very ecologically focused. I looked at juveniles in 3 different places and looking at how the diet of juvenile flounder overlaps with the native flatfish species, the plaice.
So you did your master's on a more ecological background with the flounder, looking especially at the juveniles. Mm-hmm. And then you decided you wanted to keep going, or how did your PhD then happen?
I got really fascinated by the project itself, by the topic, and after I finished my master's, the idea came up to continue with the PhD, and we had started already to develop ideas, but then, I don't know, life happened, and the original ideas, when I look back at my old PhD plans, it was very ecologically driven. But living in Iceland, the way you meet people often is like, hey, I'm Theresa, who are you? What do you do? And so often I had the conversation of, oh, I'm doing my research on flounder, and people would be like, oh, flounder, I've seen it here, I've seen it there, telling me all their experiences, their opinions. But I was just fascinated by the idea of how much people know just by being out in the nature and experiencing it and collecting knowledge this way. And then I kind of pushed for that in my PhD. And I think it was kind of a little pet project in the beginning where we do the real ecological part of the project. And then I have my little pet project of doing this survey where I wanted to see how recreational anglers in Iceland feel about the flounder, because the flounder goes up into the rivers where it co-occurs with salmon, with blakia, with Arctic char. So there's a lot of encountering, and there are very strong feelings about fishing, but also then about the flounder. So I was very curious about this. Looking back, I could have never imagined how much developed out of this. This one survey, and then it went really well, and then we did another survey and another one, and then I got involved with other people that showed me new approaches. And then the first time I presented it at an international conference, I realized people are actually doing this kind of work, and that just escalated things further. And in the end, I think most of my PhD was about the social science mixed, or like these interdisciplinary approaches, bringing together the social science approaches, the natural science approaches, to get a more holistic view. And I'm so grateful how that all turned out, and that I had the support from my supervisor, Guthberg, but also from my committee for allowing me to explore this and supporting me in that. And through that, I met my now boss, who then eventually got funding, and then it all just was kind of the right moment, right time kind of thing.
So thinking back of little Theresa, did she dream of working in biology, intersectional with social sciences, with fish, or did you have other dreams when you were little?
Absolutely not. I mean, absolutely not. I did not think I would ever do this. I think I dreamed of anything. I at some point wanted to become a vet. Then I don't even know when it started that I wanted to do biology. When I was 16, I did a high school exchange year. Before I left to the US, I wanted to become an interior designer. Thank God I didn't. Somehow that shifted, and then afterwards I wanted to do biology, marine biology, and don't know why, don't know how. And then I started biology, and through my master's then got into invasion science. So no, I had no idea that this would ever happen, but I'm also glad that I had not the idea, because then the surprise of it all makes it so much more fun to realize where you end up without planning it, and that it all somehow works out.
So given that you never planned on becoming a biologist, I guess you also never planned to get into science communication?
No.
So how did you end up doing it anyway, and why do you keep doing it? Why are you so passionate about this?
I think that went along with, as I say, the going down the slippery slope of social science, seeing how much interest and support I've also gotten from people not involved in science, but just curious about my work, interested in the flounder. I became very passionate about that, because I like the exchange. I don't like this, I'm just gonna go there, get my data from the person, but I want this to be an exchange of interest, of knowledge, of ideas. Through the work I communicated via Facebook a lot. I had to share my survey somehow, and with that I kept updating people and learned a lot about how to communicate my ideas and the goals of the survey, and that was kind of like a feedback loop. I would start with this, and then I would have super nice interactions with people that took time out of their days to help me with my things, and then I just got more and more passionate about it. And then when we had the workshop on science communication, that was so nice to see again this, like, what I felt like I have been somewhat doing without any background, but just because it felt right, or it was fun, put into words by somebody else of an actual thing. And then I remember us all sitting next to each other like, we could do this. We should do this. And like the first drawings of all the different fish species we're working at. And it's amazing. And I'm so happy how this has all turned out. And it's been such a learning curve as well. Seeing how much...
A steep learning curve, at least for me.
Yes. We like just seeing how much work it is also. And that you go through periods where you have more time for this and periods where you don't have as much time, but then doing this in a team has been so rewarding, and it makes you realize like people should be doing this, but we don't really have, we're not really given the time to do that in our daily lives or daily work life, whatever. I don't know, so it's been very nice. And I hope that we keep going and this continues.
Agreed. It's so much fun work, but also fun.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we would have stopped a long time ago. So are you up for a little quick fire round of either or?
Of course.
So freshwater or marine?
Ooh, I gotta say in between. The flounder just hit the spot of exactly brackish. Right in between.
Fieldwork or lab work?
Fieldwork.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Summer or winter?
Now living in Spain, I have to say summer.
This is so funny. I would have expected you to say winter because it's so hot in Spain.
If you would have asked me 6-7 months ago, I would have said winter.
Yeah, because that's what he said 6-7 months ago. All right. Big international conference or small national conference?
Oh, that's another difficult one. I really enjoy big ones where you get to meet so many new people that you read their work and you connect, and all these collaborations that come out of it. But I really also enjoy the small ones, like going to Ice Bio now and seeing all the people I've been working with or interacting with for so many years. Difficult. But I think the big ones.
What is your least favorite part about being a scientist?
Funding. I'm in a very privileged position right now of having the next few years covered, but looking back at my PhD, the amount of funding applications I've written, and just seeing how many cool ideas are out there, but that never make it up because of funding limitations, and it's sad. So I think that's a difficult part, these insecurities around stability, monetary value and everything.
Yeah, it's definitely something that is an extra stressor that people often don't see.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite part about being a scientist?
I think my favorite part is just the creativity that lies underneath it. You have an idea and you follow this idea. You get to really nerd out about this idea. It's frustrating in times and hard work, but it's also so rewarding and gives you so much back. And I really enjoy finding this something you're passionate about and that you get to work about it, work in it, work with it.
All around you.
This is getting cheesy.
Is there one thing that you want people to know about your work or science in general, like research in general, or a misconception that you encounter often that you would like to clear up?
I keep seeing this barrier between scientists and the public. I often feel like we as scientists kind of stand on a pedestal, basing our opinions that we tell other people how to do something based on our scientific work. I wish there would be much more of an even-leveled knowledge exchange and conversation going on. This, communication, science communication.
I just gave a workshop about science communication, and one of the students actually asked me if I was worried that we wouldn't be recognized as an authority anymore, as like an expert, if it was more eye to eye.
That's a super interesting question, but I think it makes us be recognized even more, because you kind of level the playing field, and it's a knowledge exchange rather than one side telling the other side. And I think both sides can learn from each other, and with this exchange the respect grows. And so I think it's quite the opposite.
Yeah, I had the same feeling. I also felt that if you respect me less because we're now equals, and
there are other issues.
Exactly, then we have much bigger problems. Yes. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. You just flew in and you're short on sleep. So thank you so much for getting up earlier than you had to, and to sit down with me and talk a little bit about you and who you are and how you came here.
It's always fun catching up.
Agreed.
Thank you all so much for listening today. Big shout out to my team at Icefish Research, Lieke, Michelle, Theresa and Gudbjörg. Thanks to Hasib for handling all the paperwork, and thanks to Háskóli Íslands for giving us their science outreach grant that makes this podcast possible. Thanks to Sandra Ribecki for designing our beautiful logo, and special thanks to Kaure, who trusts me with his incredibly cool recording equipment that allows me to go and talk to people everywhere. And our title song was written and recorded by myself. If you also want to support us, you can subscribe to our podcast on Patreon. This also allows you to submit questions and suggestions for future podcasts, because yes, there will be a next season. You can also leave us a review on Spotify or YouTube for free. It really helps us grow. Follow us at Icefish Research on Facebook, Instagram, or Blue Sky, or visit our website at icefishresearch.com.
All right, my favorite fish fact is about flatfish, of course. And how they can be considered as a top predator almost, because there have been cases where whales died because of flatfish. Because flatfish can get stuck in the air hole of whales and they suffocate. It's very sad, but also kind of funny.